I just want to address a couple of things from today with the fallout from Farage coming out about his bank account, not just coming out, as in Phil Schofield, and Tommy speaking out against Farage. Obviously, I completely understand Tommy's frustration. You know, Tommy speaks about him and myself having endured much of this for many years, and he's absolutely right. Of course, it was far worse for him. He also went to prison for contempt of court, despite the fact that no one had ever been put in prison for contempt of court ever in the history of legal case law in the UK. So we have both lived with being non-personed for speaking truth for a very long time. I don't have a bank account. I don't have a home. I don't have access to PayPal. Haven't done since Trump tweeted me. I don't have an ability to use my name anywhere. My children all have different names to me. So this has been going on for a decade for someone like me who's a non-person in the UK. And therefore I completely understand Tommy saying, well, yeah, welcome to the party, mate, because we've been in this for a very long time and you said nothing. I also wanted to say that I very much appreciate Lawrence Fox kind of recognising this and saying, where we made a mistake, I think he's referring to all the boys, made a mistake was not talking about Tommy or not talking about Katie or speaking out when it happened to them. It's kind of him to acknowledge that. I guess what I would say about that is it's less that no one spoke. It's more that there was a very, very deliberate attempt to distance. So people I knew, people that knew me personally, people I knew as a regular person away from any media, those people made a very deliberate attempt to distance themselves in order to self-preserve. I would also say it's very gracious of Lawrence to call out the fact that GB News does have an official ban on both Tommy and myself. I think it's very important that that is articulated so that people do know a little more about the channel that perhaps they have so much faith in as a bastion of free speech. I wanted to address a couple of other things separately. With Farage, I think we do very poorly when we criticise our own side. Many times I would rather have people on our side who are speaking even when they are on a leash and they know it, rather than they don't speak at all. I'd rather have people on a leash speaking out than not have those voices. However, I would say that on our side there are two types of people. There are people who are in it purely just on principle because they know it's the right thing. They'll speak truth no matter what the costs. And that's someone like myself because it doesn't matter to me what anyone tries to take from me because they have it all already and I'm on extra time. There is nothing anyone can take from me. So I can operate purely on principle and have done even while it was all being taken. There are others who operate for self-promotion or for power. Nigel, for me, falls into those two categories. There will never be enough power. There will never be enough self-promotion. And that comes from being closely tied to the establishment. And that's okay, but I think it's important to just be clear about that. And that is my personal opinion. The thing I really wanted to say is that none of these individuals really matter. Lawrence, Farage, none of them, myself, doesn't matter. Tommy, doesn't matter. Because what I know from being on the road relentlessly is that the only thing that matters is the ordinary people of the UK. And what's amazing about ordinary people is many of them have been through much of what I've been through, or Tommy, or worse, had their bank accounts taken, been locked up, been fined, been taken from their jobs, been threatened with their jobs, 2 days until you lose your job. If you don't take this, you don't do that. And they don't get any attention or support or anyone giving them TV time or anyone giving them applause on social media. They just have to deal with the crap that they're facing on a daily basis, and yet still they fight. Stand in the Park, the Speakeasy Network in the UK, people gathering when speech has become alcohol in the time of prohibition, when truth has become hate speech and facts are an arrestable offence a speakeasy network of ordinary people gathering just to support each other, to show each other it's going to be okay, to prepare for what is coming next. And so that's where my whole heart is. That's what this is all about for me. Nothing to do with myself. I have not one care for myself. I have nothing. I need nothing. Nothing to do actually with big figures or clicks or more followers, although everybody is welcome, because I want to make sure we have places where we can gather, and that's the fight I'm putting up with my stand-up stuff, is to find places people can gather and meet and feel better together. But I just know that the truth will out. And as much as I was removed from everything 10 years ago for speaking out actually a lot about France, and a lot about the fact that France has fallen 10 years ago, a lot about what happened to Notre Dame, on Tucker talking in a line with President Trump about if you welcome the third world, your country, your cities become a third world. And what do we see this weekend? It all playing out, and the media refusing to acknowledge why or who the rioters are and what's actually going on. And it gives me no pleasure to see everything I was non-personed for come to fruition. But it does act as a reassurance that the truth will out, and history will judge you well, and history is catching up with us faster than ever before. So I just wanted to say, despite the noise on social media, despite the names, Farage, Fox, Tommy, whatever, the most important thing is the ordinary people of the UK, of which I am one, my family are. And ordinary people know, ordinary people are facing punishment, suffering every day, and yet ordinary people are gathering and preparing for what's coming next. So support who you will, get behind who you will. It is more important than ever that we work together and hold the line, which is why whatever anyone needs on our side, I will back them and support them. I just wanted to give you my honest truths about all of the things that have happened today in my name. And I also wanted to thank everybody. Thank you for raising my name. Thank you for every time the big boys who have the clicks and the TV and the financing and the major donors, Farage, Toby Young, Lawrence Fox, privately wealthy, all the rest. Thank you for saying Tommy and Katie, because what's meaningful to me is not screen time. I wouldn't get any of it anyway. Or social media accounts. I couldn't care less about Twitter. It's a nonsense and it died a long time ago. But it's ordinary people recognising that for the longest time you've been telling the truth, and that is all playing out right in front of us now. So to ordinary people up and down the UK and in America, Canada, Sweden, New Zealand, thank you very much. Your support is more meaningful than any other kind of praise or screen time. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you somewhere very soon on the road.